for the first time since 2007. They are the Philippine Cup champions, Barangay Ginebra, San Miguel.
Barangay Ginebra Gin Kings assistant coach Richard del Rosario was one of the early proponents of the PBA bubble. He presented a detailed proposal on how to do it at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Not a few dismissed it, thinking it was impossible to do. Well, look at where we are now.
The PBA bubble has now come to a close, confetti falling down.
The Barangay Ginebra Gin Kings are the champion of the PBA Philippine Cup after disposing of the hard-fighting TNT Tropang Giga crew. But not only did they beat a worthy opponent, they also beat the odds. The early injuries to key players, the unprecedented circumstances, the challenges of being locked down, the absence of rabid cheering fans. And surviving all of those only makes the title even more satisfying. Tawagin na ang buong barangay. That's the headline on tonight's Sports Page.
Barangay Ginebra, for the first time in 13 years, are kings of the Philippine Cup.
The hottest headlines.
The integral issue.
Who will join the pantheon of the great?
What's the outlook of the future of sports?
The game changers.
The history
The
makers.
stories that make sports eternally compelling.
Open the Sports Page. What you're about to see as you join us here on Sports Page is our second installment of what has become a two-part series of our discussion with our guests from the champions of the PBA bubble, the Ginebra Gin Kings. We have assistant coach Richard del Rosario still with us. We also have LA Tenorio, our teniente. We have Jared Dillinger, and the Dean Kinito Henson is joining us for this engaging discussion that needed two parts. LA, roommate mo ba si Mark Kagiwa nitong bubble na ito? Kamusta si Mark? Napag-uusapan ba yung championship? Yung retirement, napag-usapan ba?
During this bubble pala, di ba, he made a history, like 18 years in one franchise, di ba? We were talking about it. Actually, ang akala niya, this is his 19th or 20 years na niya. At hindi yata na-count yung isang year kasi he went to the States because he was injured. So we were talking about it, and I told him, kasi I think he was really planning to, he thought that this is his 20th year already. So 20th year. So he was telling me, parang nag-iisip siya, should I go for 20 years? Sabi ko, you should go for 20 years like Kobe Bryant. The only player na nakagawa nun is Kobe Bryant. Like one franchise, 20 years in one franchise, you should do that. And he can still play. I mean, Coach Richard and JD can attest to this, that every time he goes to practice, he's always ready. He's excited to go to practice every day. And he's siya yung parang isa sa mga glue guy din namin aside from Joe. Mark, especially sa mga rookies, sa mga bata, Mark is the guy that really parang nagiging komportable yung mga bata because of him. So he can still, I told him just like last night or 2 nights ago, I told him you can still play. He's always excited. He's always excited to play. And as a roommate, we all have this kind of food because of his fiancée. Pinapadala nila sa amin, Kaya sobrang actually namimiss ko na nga si Mark eh. Namimiss na rin ako ni Mark eh.
Yan ang sabi ko na ba epekto ng bubble, missing diba?
LA, nung natalo ko yung sa game 3, you lost by 21 points. Yung first 2 games, actually, those 2 games could have gone either way. So, I'm thinking, natalo kayo nung game 3 by a blowout. Kung nanalo yung TNT, game 1 and game 2, you guys would have been down 0-3 entering game 4. Did you ever think that possibility would threaten your title bid? Because nakakatakot din yung situation. No? Yung first 2 games, you won very, very close games. Tapos nung game 3, na-blow up kayo, natalo kayo, no? So yung game 4, when you were up 2-1, that became almost like a do or die para sa inyo. Was that your thinking?
Actually, you're right, no, Sir Dean, no. Me and Mark was talking about it nga, that easily 0-3 kami and then going to game 5, 1-3 kami dapat nun eh. Because of how we played the past 2 games, no? The past 3 games. So yeah, easily 0-3 kami dapat nun. Pero going to, actually nung nag 2-0 kami, going to game 3, during our breakdown, bigs and small, I was telling the guards that this is our game 7. So we really have to get this game. Yung game 3 to, yung game 3, and then natalo kami by large margin, no. Pero yung game 4, yun na talaga, because I think as a team also, during this bubble, siguro maganda rin sa team namin is how we came back from a loss. Yun yung maganda sa amin na sa team na I don't think parang we get together, alam na namin as a vets, yung composition ng team namin with vets and mga bata, parang nakuha namin yung chemistry na after a loss we know how to bounce back. Coach Tim and the coaching staff always reminds us that in the finals or in a series or in a playoffs, big margin win or 1-point win, it's just a win. It's just how you bounce back. Diba? So yung game 4, nung natalo kami ng game 3, I think after we won the game 4, I knew we're gonna get it, aside from the injuries na meron ng talk and text, pero na-feel ko na makukuha namin ng game 5 because of how we bounce back on that loss, big margin loss against TNT nung game 3. Nas nanalo kami nung game 4. So going to game 5, parang I have this, aside from the injuries, but I have this confidence na we can get it this time na game 5. Because we cannot afford to give them life again. As we know, the firepower of TNT, grabe. Ibang klase. That's why siguro yung game 5 din, it was really hard because masyado kaming gigil to get it right away. Parang sa sobrang trying to do too much for us to finish the game early. And yun yung naging problem din namin nung game 5. That's why until the 4th quarter, they dominated us nung game 5. But again, during the latter part, the vets came out and we found our rhythm. Nag-relax kami ng konti, and then we found ways to win.
JD, I have to ask this mandatory question. What about your beard? Are you going to be a James Harden in the coming season? What's the situation with your beard?
Sir Canito, let's just first separate myself from James Harden, because I will never be as good as I could be compared to that guy. It's actually a disrespect to his name to be funneled with the same sentence with that guy. But just being honest, I always loved having a beard. I just had a good excuse to grow it out again because being on home lockdown during the pandemic, I didn't have nothing else much to do, and I didn't have anyone telling me to shave it or whatnot because it looks pretty crazy, to be honest. So yun lang. After I grow it out, we're gonna be in a bubble. I can grow it out some more without anyone telling me whatnot. And hey, so here we are. But I'm probably gonna cut it pretty soon. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. That's something we will look forward to. And as we go into this break, we've answered a couple of questions that you wanted to ask about Mark Kakiwa. But let's ask about Greg Slaughter in just a short while with Sports Page. Before we went into this platform, you and Richard were talking about Greg Slaughter. Why don't you ask him again?
Well, Coach Richard, pag-usapan natin ang future Barangay Ginebra? And where does Greg Slaughter figure in the future? Or if at all, ano sa tingin mo?
Well, I think they're still talking. Greg's talking with management, and they're continuing those talks. Greg just got married, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why he wasn't able to join the team in this bubble, because he had that scheduled already. Siyempre, may planning yung wedding na yun, no? So he had to arrange for that, had to go back to the States and arrange for that. And that's why he couldn't join us. But he was always texting. I know he was always texting with Coach Tim. And I'm not privy to whatever they're talking about. And I think management was also talking to Greg. So probably after the holidays, they would continue to talk, and we'll see what happens sa kanilang negotiations.
Kung sakali makabalik si Greg Slaughter sa Barangay Ginebra, what will that do in terms of your rotation? Because it looks like Prince Caparal will almost be exclusively a stretch 4 rather than also be used as a substitute for Japet at center.
Yeah, well, it's going to strengthen us, of course, pag bumalik si Greg, because that's another big body out there that we can put on the floor, and whatever you say, that's going to be an asset for any team. And I think Prince naman, because of this experience, he got a lot better, and hoping he can still continue to improve. And coming off the bench, if he subs in for Greg, at least medyo magsusustain, hindi malaking dip na because of the confidence that Prince got with his experience in the bubble. So that's going to deepen our rotation.
Again, talking of the future, JD, Daredevil, what about this coming draft? There's talk that a lot of players are going to be out there. Brickman maybe, Jordan Heating, Santillan, and Jerica Hanmisi. If you were part of the coaching staff, JD, what kind of player would you like to be able to get out of the draft for your team?
Oh, I think that's a great question, Kenito. You're not lying when you say it's a very strong draft class this year. Like it's really good from top to bottom. I don't know who we could take. They're all good in their own dimensions. That's why I'm a player. I'm not a manager. I don't get to make those types of decisions. Man, I like all their plays. I like Jordan's play a lot. I like Brickman's play. He's a really cerebral player. As a vet at this point, having cerebral players is a commodity. It's really nice to have smart players on a team. Whatever our manager wants to decide, and our owners and bosses, I'm going to be on board with whoever we pick, because I know they'll make the right decision.
Okay. When the history books and the yearly yearbook of the PBA will be written, and we'll look back at 2020, there's going to be just one conference, and for sure there's going to be a little asterisk there. It will mean different things to different people. But what will this mean to Ginebra and their fans, this one championship won this year? Let's go to LA, who has won a number of championships. What will this mean?
This means actually it means a lot. No, really, tama ka, Sir Sev. No, when you talk about this year, this championship, not only because of the All Filipino Championship, my only All Filipino Championship. There's gonna be an asterisk in this title, no, because of numerous reasons. No, again, first ever PBA bubble. All the struggles, all the challenges, all the hard work that we put into work before going to this bubble, and during the bubble, and not only physically, but mentally and emotionally, it's really a challenging times for us all throughout this bubble. It was not really easy. Na nandun kami, because why? Because as an individual, we have our own routines. going to the game, before the game, every after practice, during practice, di ba? Pero lahat kasi kami doon, para kaming robot. Everything's scheduled. Like, practice, going to the bus, going to the, viewing. It's all, it's all scheduled because of the situation. Yeah, and it's not, it wasn't easy. So that's why this championship, our only championship this year, katulad yan sinabi ni Boss Al kahapon, considered as Grand Slam na to kasi 2020 this is the only league so this is the only conference, so all Filipinos / Grand Slam na kami. so it's really it's really special, especially for me. There's a lot of reason for me to na maging special talaga to. Newborn baby girl, going to this bubble. I had an appendicitis procedure, and then winning the championship and winning the Finals MVP. Diba? Wala eh. I'm very I'm very grateful and very blessed to be really to be in this situation right now, despite of what happened to us and what's happening to us right now during this pandemic.
Was it intriguing that Japet, you and Stanley were vying for the same honor? I know you were not thinking about it.
No, I wasn't. I was really surprised. I told the press nga, I thought it was really Japet or Stanley. I was really surprised when they called my name. So, pero well, thankful pa rin ako. But again, my wish, di ba, yung first line ko nga, my wish to be the All-Filipino Championship lang. Pero, God gave me extra bonus, Finals MVP. I'll take it. I mean, just to add to that, all of us, including the staff and the PT, kami yung mga MVP doon. Sobra. Yung 25 na nandoon sa team namin, yun yung MVP talaga. Sobra talaga.
We'll have more when your sports page returns.
For That's What They Said, we asked, what's your favorite moment in Barangay Ginebra's run to the PBA Philippine Cup title? Lester Garcia Pineda. Game 4 of the finals, Tenorio versus Pugoy, 3-point battle in the last 2 minutes. At Arveroya, LA's lob to Japet to seal the championship. Sunny Rame, Game 5 versus Meralco semis, the buzzer beater 3-point shot of Scotty Thompson. And Game 1 ng finals versus TNT, yung drive ni LA at pinasa sa rookie na si Tolentino para manalo sa Game 1. At Dindo Fernando 18, salamat Scotty moment. Nakalimutan kong nasa trabaho pala ako. Napasigaw ng malakas sa office, akala ko nasa bahay lang ako. Sandy Marasigan, yung pag-iyak ni Coach Chard, ramdam na ramdam ang tears of joy dahil sa sakripisyo.
Coach, during this bubble, si Commissioner Willie Marshall nandoon, nakatutok, kasama kayong lahat. There were very trying moments because nagkaroon ng konting problema during the bubble because of the false positives. In fact, games had to be rescheduled. All of a sudden, we had quadruple headers. What can you say about the support na binigay sa inyong lahat ni Commissioner Willie at yung buong staff ng PBA? Ganun na din yung media group that was there, both the TV5 Signal and from other forms of media. And the PBA Board of Governors, wala sila ron. But alam ko din that nakatutok sila and they were following the bubble not only day to day, hour by hour, almost second by second, because they were so focused on making sure that all of you guys would be safe and protected.
Well, ito na nga isa sa mga pinakamaganda nangyari sa bubble. I think that's the best thing that happened was the PBA family became a lot closer. We're always talking about teams being close as individual teams, but everybody, the 12 teams, because dito lang sa bubble nakita mo how other teams operated, how they work. You would see them every day when they go to the gym, their routines also, and makikita mo yung culture of the other teams. And you learn to appreciate that. And also sa PBA, because sa mga problema nangyari nga dyan, naging close rin kami with PBA officials. Nung nagkaroon tayo ng mga false positives, nagkaroon ng meeting with the coaches and the bubble team point persons. And it was a collective effort in trying to find solutions. There was the board of governors, Chairman Vargas was there, and the vice chairman, and then si deputy commissioner, and all the coaches, and we were all talking during that meeting and finding solutions on how we can continue with this bubble. And yun na nga naging solution doon was yung quadruple header, everyday games, tapos yung adjustment natin sa pag-testing, and even yung mga quarantine facilities. Lahat nagtulong-tulong eh. And that's what I appreciate the most about this, because it's not just the teams that became closer, it's the entire PBA family. And I think that's the biggest takeaway here, na kaya natin lahat. I mean, there's no monopoly of great ideas. There's no one person that can come out with the best idea. It's just everybody coming together for a common cause, and yun ang naitawid natin dito sa PBA bubble, and hopefully we were able to bring joy to all the PBA fans and even non-basketball fans, because they found something to look forward to every day in trying to watch and find some enjoyment in watching PBA games, and give them a reason to stay at home, and yung ups and downs. This was really the biggest, I think, takeaway, the biggest benefit that we got from the PBA, because we learned to appreciate each other more, and all the work that entails with even yung mga personal na PBA na hindi naman yung trabaho nila, nagmo-multitask na rin sila. So lahat tulong-tulong. So I think it's better appreciation for each other.
I think it was a triumph of the human spirit.
Yes, and hopefully the country can learn something from what the PBA has done here with this PBA bubble. Na naitawid natin to successfully. It's just because of everybody coming together and working for the common good.
Yeah. Thank you very much to the...
Pwede mag-add doon. Nakita niyo na ba si Willie lately? Hindi na niya kailangan magpapayat. Sobrang payat na niya.
Oo nga. We'd like to thank the three champions here, Assistant Coach Richard del Rosario, Jared Dillinger, who we will probably see with a different look when we have him around next time. But LA Tenorio, always a pleasure having you here on Sports Page. And of course, the Dean, Kinito Henson, for asking those important questions that we sometimes tend to forget. But as we go into our last look, the Barangay Ginebra Gin Kings are the champion of the PBA Philippine Cup. No ifs and buts about it. Don't put an asterisk on it. It's very clear they are the champions. For almost 3 months, they went through an exhausting grind, seeing the same faces every day, as Richard was talking about. Yung palang, nakakapagod na isipin. Now they have a very long layoff before going back to it again and defend the crown. Pat Riley, the NBA legend, said that, sometimes you could fall into the disease of more after winning a title, which happened with them in the Los Angeles Lakers. Everybody wants a little more, but that could derail a successful team. But one thing we can say about Ginebra is that they want to win more championships, and they'll sleep first and in their own beds to enjoy and relish this championship. Ang tanong lang, yung bang trophy nyo na quarantine at na-disinfect na nung nakuha ninyo? Thank you for joining us in this special treat here on Sports Page.